All right, let's get right into it. We're about to run a masterclass on how you can absolutely nail those big 6 and 9 mark questions in your GCSE Computer Science Paper 2 exam. Let's do this.
You know the feeling, right? You turn the page, you see that huge blank space after a long question, and your mind just goes blank too. How on earth are you supposed to fill that with a top-band answer when the clock is ticking?
Well, that is exactly the problem we're going to solve today.
Our goal here is simple: to give you a tool that takes this scary-looking blank page and turns it into a structured, high-scoring answer that ticks all the boxes on the mark scheme. And I mean every single time. So, here's the plan. We'll kick things off with a super quick tech recap. Then, I'm going to show you a simple but seriously powerful technique to get your thoughts in order. We'll even test it out on 2 real exam questions, and then wrap up with a clear action plan you can use straight away.
Okay, before we get to the main event, we need to make sure we've got a solid foundation. Think of this as your rapid-fire tech toolkit, just a quick refresh of the key ideas that pop up in these big questions all the time.
First up, cybersecurity, starting with hacking. We all know what it is, right? Getting into a system without permission. But what's really interesting is how companies fight back. They use ethical hackers for something called penetration testing. You've got white box tests, where the hacker knows the system, and black box tests, where they attack from the outside just like a real criminal would, all to find weaknesses before the bad guys do.
Next, cloud storage. Basically, you're just storing your files on these huge remote servers. And it's all possible because of amazing wireless networking, Wi-Fi and 5G, that lets us get to our stuff from anywhere. But here's the catch. You get all this convenience, but you're now completely dependent on that cloud provider. If their systems go down, guess what? You can't get to your files. And then we have autonomous vehicles. Yep, self-driving cars. They're run by a computer, not a person. And this technology just opens up a huge can of worms, ethically and legally. You've got the famous trolley problem. If a crash is about to happen, how does the car's code decide who to save? And if it does crash, who's on the hook legally? The person in the car? The company that made it? And finally, we've got the whole world of mobile and wearable tech. We're way beyond just smartphones now. Think about smartwatches tracking our every move, or even the futuristic idea of computer-based implants that could help people see or hear again. The impact on our culture is just massive. On the one hand, you have social media algorithms that can be really bad for mental health, but on the other, these devices can be incredibly empowering, helping us stay healthy and connected.
Okay, toolkit's packed. Now for the main event. This is the secret weapon I was telling you about. A really simple framework that will let you break down any big exam question about the impact of technology.
It's called the 3 lenses technique. For any piece of tech, you just need to ask yourself 3 simple questions. 1, is it right? 2, is it lawful? And 3, is it sustainable? Right, lawful, sustainable. Seriously, it's an amazing way to come up with a ton of great points, even when you're under pressure.
So the first lens is the ethical one. Is it right? This is all about what's morally good or bad. You're asking questions like, does this technology treat people fairly? Does it invade their privacy? Could it make people, like taxi drivers, lose their jobs? Does it create a gap between people who can afford the tech and those who can't?
The second lens is much more black and white. Is it lawful? Does using this technology actually break any laws? We're talking about things like the Data Protection Act, which sets the rules for how companies have to handle your data, or the Computer Misuse Act, which is what makes hacking a crime.
And our third and final lens, is it sustainable? This is the environmental angle. You have to think about the entire life of the technology, from start to finish. How much power do those giant data centers need? What about the rare metals we have to mine to build our devices? And what happens to them when we're done? That creates a huge e-waste problem.
Okay, so that's the theory. A bit abstract, right? Let's make it real and see how this technique actually works with a proper exam question.
And here we go, a real 9-marker from a past paper. Discuss the advantages and disadvantages of using cloud storage. Consider any legal, ethical, and environmental issues. I mean, come on, the question is practically screaming at you to use the 3 lenses. It's perfect.
So, let's apply our framework. For right, the ethical lens, you could talk about data privacy or the fact that we're becoming so reliant on just a few giant tech companies. For lawful, you can bring up the Data Protection Act and how the cloud company is legally required to keep your data safe. And for sustainable, boom, data centers use a massive amount of electricity for power and for cooling.
And this right here is the proof in the pudding. Look at the official mark scheme for the top band. It explicitly says you need relevant points covering at least 2 of legal, ethical, and environmental issues. By using our 3 lenses, you automatically smash every single one of those top band criteria. It's a guaranteed way in.
Feeling good? You should be. Let's do it again with a different question, just to show you how flexible this technique really is.
Okay, this one's a 6 marker on autonomous vehicles. And look, the question is literally giving you the 2 lenses to use, legal and ethical. The examiner has handed you the structure for your answer on a plate.
So we just use that structure and drop in our knowledge. Under right, the ethical points, we can talk about the trolley problem, the huge impact of job losses for drivers, and maybe a positive point, like how it could increase freedom for people with disabilities. Then for lawful, we can ask who's liable in a crash, how journey data is legally protected, and the risk of hacking, which of course falls under the Computer Misuse Act.
And once again, let's check the mark scheme. The points are almost a perfect match for what our lenses helped us find: decision-making, jobs, liability, data protection, security. Using this structure directly leads you to a top-level answer. It's really that simple. It's not a fluke, it's a system.
Okay, let's wrap this all up into a clear, exam-ready strategy that you can take away and use right now.
So here it is, your 3-step plan. Step 1, identify the technology in the question. Step 2, apply the 3 lenses. Is it right? Is it lawful? Is it sustainable? And step 3, use those lenses as the paragraphs for your answer. This simple plan guarantees you'll always have something to say and that your answer will always be brilliantly structured.
You now have a seriously powerful tool in your revision toolkit. So the only real question left is, which piece of technology, from wearable tech to computer-based implants, are you going to try the 3 lenses on first? Go give it a shot. You'll be ready for anything they can throw at you.